Welcome to Cancer Lesson 4.1, How Does Cancer Make Us Sick? The goals of this lesson are to explore what makes tumors cancerous, and consider how to classify tumors based on how far the tumors have spread. At the end of the lesson, the students should be able to explain the distinction between benign and malignant epithelial tumors. Define the term metastasize and describe how a tumor becomes malignant once it can metastasize. And explain how tumors are graded based on the extent of metastasis. We will achieve these goals by examining skin tumors and characterizing them based on criteria that are useful in diagnosis. To prepare for this lesson, you'll need to review the following key scientific concepts that will be presented throughout the lesson. How cancerous a tumor is does not depend on its size. Rather, it depends on its ability to metastasize. For a tumor to become malignant, cells must migrate through the basement membrane into the stroma. Metastatic tumors gain the extra ability to migrate from the stroma to the bloodstream. Cancer refers to malignant and metastatic tumors. And cancerous tumors are characterized based on cancer grade, which is the potential that a cancer has to spread from a primary site, and cancer stage, which refers to the extent that cancer has spread from the primary site. You can review this scientific content in the background reading provided for you in the teacher primer, the teacher manual, and the student workbook. The teacher primer provides in-depth knowledge about the scientific content presented in this lesson. The teacher manual or lesson plan provides a minute-by-minute explanation of the lesson structure. And the student workbook provides additional explanation for students. Be sure to print the lesson worksheet and the homework worksheet. This lesson also requires the homework video, which is a TED Talk. The Do Now harks back to Lesson 1.1, which introduced the terms tumor, benign tumor, and malignant tumors. We revisit the concept that not all tumors are cancers, and that tumors only are cancerous when they become malignant. The next few slides delve into what malignant means. The size of a tumor does not determine whether the tumor is cancerous. For example, even though this tumor is large, it has remained in a single place and has not migrated from this primary site. Therefore, it is benign. Perhaps surprisingly, this tumor is cancerous because the cells in this tumor can spread beyond the primary site. We can classify tumors into three types: benign tumors, which do not migrate at all, malignant tumors, which can invade the stroma, and metastatic tumors, which can travel through the bloodstream to other areas of the body. By cancer, we mean tumors that are malignant or metastatic. A key point in this lesson is the definition of metastasis. Note that metastatic tumors are different from malignant tumors because they can travel through the bloodstream and develop a secondary tumor somewhere else in the body. In fact, metastatic tumors are a subset of malignant tumors. Next, we compare a benign tumor to a malignant tumor. The ability of the tumor to break the basement membrane and travel into the stroma is called invasiveness, and this property determines how severe the cancer is. But how can we tell just by looking at a tumor whether it is benign or malignant? The ABCs of skin tumors provide a guideline for classifying tumors into benign or malignant. To determine severity, most cancers are characterized using stage and grade. Cancer grade tells us how invasive a tumor is likely to be. The higher the grade, the more likely the tumor will invade the stroma. Whereas normal cells progress from not differentiated to terminally differentiated, cancer cells work backwards. They de-differentiate and thereby gain the ability to replicate and be immortal. High-grade cancers essentially look more like stem cells, which are essentially immortal and replicate often. As they de-differentiate, cancer cells start looking and behaving more abnormally. This slide shows what cancerous epithelial cells would look like with each passing grade, or with increasing grades. Note that until now, we have classified tumor cells while looking at them in one location, their site of origin, because they have not yet migrated beyond the basement membrane. Next, we turn to classifying the tumor cells based on the extent to which they have spread. The tool we use for this is called cancer stage, and this describes how far the cells have migrated through the bloodstream. The key points of the activity are that a major challenge in cancer is identifying the criteria to determine whether tumors are benign or malignant. The appearance of cells can be used to assess the grade of a tumor. We'll get there by characterizing skin tumors using the ABC criteria. Students will use this criteria they saw before to identify whether the tumors pictured are benign or malignant. They will then classify the grade of a cross-section of epithelial cells arranged around a lumen, from lowest to highest. Note that image C has the highest grade because the cells in the tissue look most abnormal compared to the grade 0, and the structure of the tissue is disorganized. The key points of the wrap-up are that low-grade tumors are generally easier to treat than high-grade tumors because they have acquired fewer mutations, regardless of stage. High-grade tumors are more likely to be resistant to chemotherapy. Current technology focuses treatment plans on the stage of tumor rather than the grade of tumor. To wrap up, we compare whether a cancer with the low stage and high grade is easier to treat than a cancer with a low grade and high stage. Remind students that grades define the potential of cancer to spread, and stage defines the extent that the cancer has spread. Lower grade tumors are easier to treat because they have acquired fewer mutations and are therefore more similar to each other. They are also less likely to become resistant to chemotherapy. For homework, have students watch a TED Talk about the role of angiogenesis, which is the process by which new blood vessels form, in cancer. One of the most common questions students ask is, if invasiveness is the most important feature of a tumor, why doesn't staging a tumor provide all the information you need? Staging only tells you where a tumor is in real time, whereas grading gives you an idea of the potential of the tumor to spread, even if it has not yet begun to spread. This is important for treatment decisions. At the end of the lesson, collect the lesson worksheets to assess students' explanations of how a tumor can spread after it becomes malignant, and their explanations of how one uses cancer grade and stage to characterize a tumor. The concepts of metastasis and characterizing tumors based on their severity will be used throughout this unit to understand how cancer makes us sick. Don't forget, if you have any questions, concerns, or feedback, to let us know. You can contact any of the CTSE team members and we'll be happy to help you.